If you've lived in Nigeria and a lot of people have been telling you that when you move outside of the country, you're gonna experience this, you're gonna experience that. And in your mind, you're gonna ignore it. I mean, a lot of people fall into this and they're like, I don't care. I just wanna escape from this country. I just wanna do whatever. Maybe if you're going out for a job, you go to that job. If you're going out for education, fine. And truth be told, you will sort of achieve, a lot of people tend to achieve their dreams, okay? Like the main reason why they're going out. But here are some backgrounds that a lot of people ignore. Then, after 5 to 10 years, or just more like years in living in that country, they ask themselves, why they're so sad. A lot of things you ask yourself, and you're like, okay, I am achieving what I came here to do, but something is missing. Like something isn't mentally right. Okay, I know that this video is about moving from Nigeria, in my case, to a European country, or let's say moving out to a dominantly white country. I'm not talking about moving to somewhere like the UK where it's mixed with a lot of people, or the US, although some people still experience these in some of these countries. So first of all, I would say some economical crisis. You grow up in Nigeria, you think that, it's normal, although in your mind you know that it's a problem. But you won't know that the rest of the world sees it as a major problem, okay? Like over here, and of course, in a lot of countries outside of Nigeria and Africa, not all of them, because there are some which are possibly worse. Electricity is a necessity. Electricity, water, and truth be told, the only main thing that I was fully aware of was the electricity problem. Because, be for real, you're just on your phone and then the power cut. It's annoying. But one thing I never really struggled with was water, running water. I mean, if you want to save energy or whatever you're using, you're gonna use less water or whatever. And it's kind of the same in Europe, in the sense that you're still paying bills. You manage how much water and electricity you're consuming, right? Great. So I never really heard in Nigeria something like Africa doesn't have water, something like that. And then I came to Europe and it's like everybody, okay, not everybody, but a lot of people keep saying it, like Africa is a desert, Africa has no water. And then the media shows a bunch of things like as if I was living in a desert, which clearly I was not. It never got to me, it never got to a lot of people around me. And truth be told, I am grateful that I wasn't part of the other population which would go to rivers to fetch water, those who didn't have running water but they had access to water. But over here in Europe, you see a lot of kids who joke around, and if you say you're from Africa, they're like, do you have water? Stuff like that. And it's truly annoying because the first time I heard that joke, I mean, that's what they call it, a joke. Um, I was so confused because I never really recalled having that problem. Maybe it was normalized, I don't know. So that was something that was really weird to me. Another one would be racist jokes. If you're unfortunate, you might end up experiencing actual racism. Now, a lot of people really heard this one, okay, in their country of origin, not just Nigeria. Let's say in a country where they feel oppressed by their past or history. And in these countries, people will probably tell you before leaving that, okay, they experience racism, and you will see stuff on the television and be like, they actually experience racism. But to your mind, you're probably just gonna be like, okay, it's just few people, it's kind of like when you hear on the news that somebody got robbed, but you don't find people getting robbed every day around you unless you live in a crazily dangerous environment. So that was probably how a lot of people um perceived and probably still perceive this racism of a thing until you actually go to that country and see it for yourself. I mean, some people, very uneducated people, would, make jokes. I mean, actual racism, like when you're not part of a lot of things, you're oppressed. I mean, it shows in the actions. And you might go to whatever country to achieve whatever you're there to. And then in a couple of years, you ask yourself, why am I so sad, traumatized, and so on if I am doing what I came here to do? You hear cases of patients, maybe if a foreign doctor comes to work in a certain country, that patients who are racist do not want them in. Parents are racist to foreign teachers from these countries, that is, and so much more. So, this one is something that is really taken lightly at first until you experience it. So, don't judge a book by its cover. People who say that they really went through all of this, you truly won't understand. Maybe you feel empathy. Some people can't even feel the empathy because one thing about Nigerians is that we tend to joke a lot. Every little thing we take it as play. If it's in Nigeria and somebody insults you, a fight could break out. Okay, if it's an actual insult. But then you come abroad, you can't fight. I mean, if you're not a citizen, you will be taken back to your country or maybe in prison, or you're gonna face legal problems, and nobody wants that. So in your mind, you're buckling up these feelings. You're buckling up these insults, the way people are treating you just to achieve whatever goal you want to achieve. And if you have this mindset that, okay, the people here are racist or maybe acting this way, it might affect you in thinking that a lot of people, that's if you're too sensitive, okay? If you're too sensitive and you let it get to you, you're probably going to be thinking, okay, I can't have real friends. If you want to have a partner, maybe what if he doesn't like people of my kind? And so on. And if someone is really your friend, is this person really a friend or just having pity on me? And it's could, like, it could really build up in your mind if you're an overthinker. Mm-hmm. Another one is tax. I mean, the little tax that I know of in Nigeria is probably paying your electricity bills, which you don't get constantly, and your water bills. Although, if you're using a prepaid meter, which in some parts of Nigeria was recently introduced, but then you leave Nigeria. And mind you, if you're leaving Nigeria for a job, always check the tax. Always check the tax. That is why you see that you can live comfortably. If you have money, you can live comfortably in Nigeria. Truth be told, you can, because what is yours, it's yours. Whatever money you make, it's yours. You're not giving it to anyone. You're just paying for yourself. You're not directly paying the government, let's say. Maybe indirectly, sure. But you get what I mean. Paying tax is not something a lot of people are used to until you come here. You're happy that you're gonna get a better pay. That's if you're coming here for a job. And then let's assume that you get 1,000 euros as your paycheck for that month. At least that's what you're gonna research and whatever, that's what you're gonna be told, that your paycheck is 1k euros, assuming. And then you wonder why you're taking home 600 euros. And then from that 600 euros, when you calculate the cost of living, which you should also check in whatever country you go into, you calculate the cost of living, and then you notice that you can't save anything. What was the point? A lot of people leave either to live a better life, maybe to reunite with families, education, or simply to get a job, to save, maybe for back home. This isn't my case, but I'm giving an example because Most of the people who leave countries nowadays, any country, not just Nigeria, either to start life as fresh or for a job. So basically, this is how debts begin to stack up, okay, unexpectedly. Because in your mind, you have it that I'm just going there, they're paying better. But then when you calculate the tax, the cost of living, and all those expenses, your electricity bill, your water bill, your internet bill, because you need internet, your phone bill, if you have a car, your gas bill, your transportation, food, and so on. So, what I'm trying to say here is don't get this wrong, okay? I'm not stopping anyone. I'm not saying that you shouldn't leave the country. Honestly, I would advise it myself. But these are things that you should just keep in mind, okay? Don't take this as a form of discouragement. If you want to leave, leave, okay? But one thing is that leaving is not for the weak. You gotta be strong. You gotta keep your head up, okay? So here's another one that a lot of Nigerians say a lot. Some people say it as a joke until they see it for themselves, and that is the weather here is cold. I mean, it depends on what country you're going to, but if it's to Europe, you know that the weather is going to be cold. Like, imagine you're living in a country that's about 32 to 36 degrees, and if unfortunately you come here during the winter, you're meeting like 1 degree to minus degrees. And if unfortunately you do not bring the right jackets, that's on you. A lot of people make the mistake of bringing really, really thin jackets. I mean, over there is considered thick until you come here and you regret. And truth be told, you're not to blame. Don't blame yourself. Like, you're not to blame. You did all you could with all you could and all you knew, let's say. The cold is really a big deal. The weather in general is a huge deal. In the summer, it's really hot. In the winter or cold seasons, it's really cold. I'll say that the best time normally if you're coming from somewhere like Nigeria or a country with very similar weather conditions, the best time would be around spring. And even I came during spring and it was still hella cold back then for me, and I had like these heavy jackets, which looking back on them now, they are so thin, but they were heavy, carrying me down. And then I saw heavy jackets here and I'm like, damn, like these are heavy, but not all of them. You just get used to them and that's basically it. So here's something that comes last. This one is for my queens, for the girlies, okay? In Nigeria, you get told a lot that to look good, you gotta get your hair done, okay? Like if you get your hair out, it ain't neat. So either you're doing braids or something that's really popular nowadays are wigs, especially lace wigs. And really, if you have customers, wigs are an investment if they're real human hair. They're a good investment for the time being. We don't know how it's gonna age, but for the time being, it's good as an investment. But if you think that wearing wigs is gonna make you feel belonged, that is where you're wrong. Because one thing you will learn along the way is that people here really appreciate your natural hair more than they do with artificial things or extensions or wigs. And most of the time, it's pretty much visible that it's a wig or not your natural hair, or unless it's just old people because they don't really know what goes on like with the younger generation nowadays much. So coming here, you really appreciate a lot of natural beauty. Like you see all that time you put on yourself, even for the guys. You put a lot of time on yourself thinking that over here you're gonna look good all the time. Like you're gonna wear those nice looking clothes you've been saving for years. Truth be told, and realistically, you're gonna need like 3 pairs of jeans, which you're gonna be repeatedly wearing every 5 business days. Okay, the same old jackets, couple of teas, and like two pairs of shoes, which you're really gonna need. These are just really what you're gonna need and realistically gonna wear almost every day. So don't be pressured. Don't be pressured, okay? Because in Nigeria, there's a lot of peer pressure. Even going out of the country now is seen as one of those peer pressures. You know, if you've never gone out of the country, they see you, I don't know how they see you, but I guess Nigerians can be judgmental sometimes and judgmental without reasoning, in my opinion. So, yeah, if you're planning to leave Nigeria, good luck. But don't forget to keep your heads up, do as much research as you want, and remember these tips. You can overcome them, they're very overcomable, just so you know. But you gotta be wise, you gotta be strong, and always remember what you went for. Okay, peace.